Hello, my friends. It is so nice to have you here with me today. Please sit down, find a calm place, and take a slow breath with me. Now let me ask you to imagine something. Imagine a man who has everything. He has power, he has money, he has a big empire. He can do anything he wants. He can live in a big palace. He can take what he wants and give nothing back. But this man does something very different. Every morning he sits alone in silence. He takes a small notebook and he writes. He writes about being patient. He writes about being kind. He writes about doing the right thing even when it is hard. He does not write for other people. He does not want anyone to read it. He writes only for himself. It is like a quiet promise, a promise he makes every day. Who is this man? His name is Marcus Aurelius. He was the most powerful man in the world. He was the emperor of Rome, but inside he lived like a student. He always wanted to learn. He always wanted to grow. He always wanted to be better. Today we will follow his story. We will see his life from when he was a small child to when he became emperor and to his last quiet days. This is a story about power, but also about wisdom. It is about problems, but also about peace. It is about one simple question. What does it mean to be a good person? Now let us go back in time, almost 2,000 years ago, to the great city of Rome. The year was 121 AD. Rome was very big. It was very busy. There were many people in the streets. There were markets, temples, soldiers, and families. Rich people and poor people all lived together. It was loud and full of life. But in a quiet house, away from the noise, a baby boy was born. His name was Marcus Annius Verus. Later people called him Marcus Aurelius. His family was rich. His family was respected. His grandfather was an important man. He worked for the emperor. So from the beginning, Marcus lived in a good home. But Marcus was not like other children. He was quiet. He was serious. He liked to think. Other children played outside, they ran, they shouted, they laughed. But Marcus liked to sit. He liked to listen. He liked to ask questions. He watched the world very carefully. He wanted to understand life. When Marcus was only 3 years old, his father died. This was very sad. After that, his mother and grandfather raised him. They gave him love. They gave him safety. And they gave him something very important, good teachers. Marcus had many teachers. They taught him language, history, law, and speaking. In Rome, learning was very important. Marcus worked hard. He listened carefully. He did not waste time. But one day he met a special teacher. This teacher was different. He did not only teach facts. He taught Marcus how to think. He taught him how to live. He taught him how to be a good man. This teacher showed Marcus something new, a way of thinking called stoicism. Stoicism is simple. It says we cannot control everything. We cannot control the weather. We cannot control other people. We cannot control bad luck. But we can control ourselves. We can choose to stay calm. We can choose to be kind. We can choose to do what is right. Marcus loved this idea. It felt true. It felt right inside his heart. He started to study more. He read books. He wrote notes. He thought deeply. Philosophy became his life. It was not just learning, it was how he lived every day. At the same time, something important was happening. Far away in the palace, the emperor was watching. His name was Hadrian. He was strong. He was smart. And he had a big problem. He had no son. So he needed to choose the next emperor. He looked at many young men. He wanted someone wise, someone calm, someone good. And again he looked at Marcus. Marcus was still young, but Hadrian saw something special. He saw a quiet strength. He saw a good heart. So he made a big decision. He chose a man named Antoninus Pius to become emperor after him. But he gave one rule. Antoninus must adopt Marcus. And now everything changed. Marcus was no longer just a student. He was now going to become emperor one day. Marcus did not ask for this. He did not want power, but life chose him. So he accepted it and he prepared himself. For many years, Marcus lived under the care of Antoninus Pius. He was not emperor yet, but he was learning every day. He stayed close to Antoninus. He watched how he made decisions. He listened in meetings. He saw how the empire worked. He saw how laws were made. He saw how problems were solved. This was not fast learning. It was slow and steady. But Marcus liked it. He was patient. He wanted to understand everything. During this time, Marcus also built his personal life. He married a woman named Faustina the Younger. They lived together and had many children. But life was not always happy. Some of their children died when they were very young. This brought deep sadness to Marcus and his family. In those days, this was common, but it still hurt very much. Marcus felt pain like any other person. He felt loss. He felt worry. But he did not lose himself. He returned again and again to his philosophy. He reminded himself that life has both good and bad moments. Happiness and pain come together, and we must accept both with calm and strength. During these years, Marcus also wrote in his private notebooks. He did not write for the public. He did not write for fame. He wrote for himself. He wrote simple thoughts. He wrote lessons. He wrote reminders. He wanted to guide his own mind. These writings would later become a famous book, but at that time they were only for him. He was still learning. He was still preparing. Then one day everything changed. In the year 161 AD, Antoninus Pius died peacefully. The empire now needed a new leader. All eyes turned to Marcus. He was 40 years old. Now it was his time. When Marcus became emperor, he did something very surprising. He did not want to rule alone. Instead, he asked his adopted brother, Lucius Verus, to rule with him. This was something new. Rome always had one emperor, but Marcus chose to share power. This was not weakness. This was wisdom. He believed the empire was too big for one person. He believed working together was better. From the start, Marcus showed a different kind of leadership. He was humble. He listened. He thought carefully. He did not act with pride. But his time as emperor was not easy. Very soon, problems began. In the east, a strong enemy attacked Rome. This enemy was the Parthian Empire. They wanted Roman land. Marcus sent Lucius Verus to lead the army. The war was long and difficult. Soldiers fought far from home. Many suffered. But in the end, Rome won the war. The danger seemed over. but something worse followed. The soldiers who came back from war brought a terrible disease. This disease spread quickly. It moved from city to city. It killed many people. It caused fear everywhere. Today, we call it a plague. It lasted for many years. Millions of people died. The empire became weak. Many families lost loved ones. People were afraid. But Marcus stayed calm. He did not panic. He did not hide. He worked every day. He made plans to help the sick. He tried to keep order in the empire. He kept the government running. Even when things were very hard, he stayed strong. He was like a tree in a storm. The wind was strong, but he did not fall. He trusted his mind. He trusted his values. He believed that fear would not help, but calm thinking would. During this time, Marcus continued to write. Even as emperor, even in crisis, he still wrote in his notebook. He reminded himself to stay patient. He reminded himself to stay kind. He reminded himself to do what was right, because even the most powerful man in the world needed guidance. And that guidance came from within. There is something very interesting in the life of Marcus Aurelius. He loved peace. He loved quiet places. He loved books and thinking. But most of his life as emperor was full of war. He had to leave Rome many times. He traveled far to the north, to lands we now call Germany and Austria. The weather there was very cold. The land was hard. Life was not easy. There were strong groups of people called tribes. These tribes pushed against the Roman borders. They wanted land. They wanted power. They were brave and strong. Marcus had to lead the Roman army against them. Year after year, he stayed in military camps. He lived far from his home. He slept in simple places. He faced cold nights and long days. But he did not complain. He did not show anger. He saw war as a duty. He did not love it, but he accepted it. He believed he must protect his people. Even in the middle of war, Marcus stayed true to himself. At night, when the camp was quiet, he sat alone. By the light of a small lamp, he wrote in his notebook. He wrote simple thoughts. He wrote short lines. He wrote about life. He wrote about the mind. He wrote about how to stay calm in hard times. He reminded himself that he cannot control everything. He reminded himself that he can control his thoughts. He wrote that a person must stay strong inside, even when the world is difficult. These writings were very honest. They were not perfect words. They were real thoughts from a tired man who was trying his best. He did not try to sound great. He did not try to impress anyone. He only wanted to guide himself. One of his ideas was very simple but very powerful. He believed that our mind is our greatest strength. If we keep our mind calm, we can face anything. Even in war, even in pain, even in fear. These notes stayed with him for many years. After his death, people found them. They collected them and gave them a name. Today, we know them as meditations. This book is read by people all over the world. People read it when they feel lost. People read it when they feel sad. People read it when they want peace. It is not a big book with long stories. It is full of short thoughts, simple ideas, quiet lessons. It feels like a man speaking softly to himself, and maybe that is why it feels so real. Think about this. A man sitting in a cold camp almost 2,000 years ago, writing small notes to himself, never thought anyone would read them. But today, millions of people read those same words. That is something very special. That is something very beautiful. It shows us that simple truth can live for a very long time. It shows us that quiet thoughts can become a gift to the world. And even while leading an army, even while carrying the weight of an empire, Marcus never stopped learning. He never stopped trying to become better. That is what makes his story so powerful. One important thing we must understand about Marcus Aurelius is this: he was not perfect. He was a good man, but he still made mistakes. This is very important to remember. Sometimes people think great leaders are always right, but this is not true. Marcus tried to be wise. He tried to be kind, but there were times when his actions were not good. One example is his treatment of early Christians. In the Roman world, many people followed old traditions. They believed in many Roman gods, but Christians had a different belief. Because of this, some people saw them as a problem. During the time of Marcus, some Christians were punished. Some were treated badly. Some were even killed. This part of history is difficult to think about, because Marcus wrote about kindness and justice. But in real life, this did not always happen. This shows us something important. A person can have good ideas but still make wrong choices. Wisdom is not perfect. It grows slowly. It comes with time. It comes with experience. Marcus himself knew this. In his writings, he often spoke about his own mistakes. He did not try to look perfect. He was honest with himself. He knew he was still learning. He knew he was still growing. Another struggle in his life was his family. Marcus had a son named Commodus. Marcus loved his son very much. But as Commodus grew older, it became clear that he was very different from his father. Marcus was calm and thoughtful. Commodus was quick and emotional. Marcus liked wisdom. Commodus liked power and attention. Marcus tried to guide him. He tried to teach him, but it was not easy. In the end, Marcus made a big decision. He chose Commodus to become the next emperor. Many people later said this was a mistake. They believed Commodus was not ready. They believed he would not lead well. But Marcus made his choice. Maybe he hoped his son would learn. Maybe he believed his example would help him. But life does not always go the way we hope. This must have been very hard for Marcus, to lead a great empire and at the same time worry about his own son. This shows us something very real. Even powerful people have personal problems. Even strong leaders feel worry and pain. Life is never perfect. We make choices with the knowledge we have at that time, and sometimes we only understand later. If those choices were right or wrong, Marcus knew this. He accepted this. He continued to live with calm and honesty. He continued to learn from his life. And he continued to remind himself to stay steady, even when things were not perfect. By the late 170s, Marcus Aurelius was very tired. He had been emperor for many years. He had faced war, disease, and many problems. He had worked every day for his people. His body was becoming weak. He was often sick, but he did not stop. He continued to lead. He continued to work. He continued to do his duty. Even in his last years, he went again to the northern lands. The fighting there was not finished. The tribes were still a danger. Marcus felt responsible. He wanted to bring peace. He wanted to protect the empire. So he stayed there far from Rome. The weather was cold. Life was hard. And then he became very ill. This time it was serious. Marcus knew his life was coming to an end, but he was calm. He was not afraid. For many years he had thought about life and death. He had written about it. He believed death is a natural part of life. He believed we should not fear it. He believed we should live well, not just live long. In his final days he stayed quiet. He did not show fear. He accepted what was coming. In the year 180 AD, Marcus Aurelius died. He was 58 years old. When people in Rome heard the news, they felt deep sadness. They did not only lose an emperor, they lost a good man. They lost a leader who tried to do what was right. Leaders like him are rare, and people knew this. Now, as we come to the end of this story, let us think about what we can learn from his life. The lessons are simple but very strong. Power is not enough. A person must also have wisdom, and wisdom is not enough if we do nothing. We must act in a good way. Every day we have a choice. We can be angry or we can be calm. We can be selfish or we can be kind. We can stay the same or we can try to be better. Marcus chose to try every day. He reminded himself again and again. He never stopped learning. Even as emperor, he stayed a student, and that is something very special. And now, think about yourself. You are here listening, learning, growing. Step by step, you are improving. It is not fast, but it is real. Just like Marcus, you are on a journey, so do not stop. Keep going. Stay patient. Stay calm. Keep learning. Your journey is important. Your journey is beautiful.